Hey guys, what is going on? Anthony here with Pistons Talk. Today I have a very special guest. Leo, thank you so much for joining me. I feel like the last time we talked, we were doing kind of like mock drafts all the way back in like July. And yeah, man, it's been quite a minute, but I want to jump straight into these Marvin Bagley rumors again. Last year you guys wanted Saddiq Bey. We said no.
Right.
I kind of wanted to wonder, has like the market for him gone down, or do you think it's still like, I don't know, maybe you guys are looking for a certain player? Is it draft picks? What do you think the Kings would want for a Marvin Bagley trade?
I'll say this. If the market was down back when we were talking about it, the market has gone even lower. Kind of like when you're like, well, it can't get any lower. Well, damn, it got lower because of all of the drama-filled scenario that he puts himself into. A lot of it is his dad, his team, right? Team Bagley. He's very easily influenced, which is a bad thing. A lot like how Lonzo was influenced with our ball for a while, and then he was like, I'm my own man. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to separate myself from the brand for a little bit. And later in life, when I'm mature as a man, I'll come back, help you guys out, shout out, whatever. And Bagley's going through that stage where he's like in the middle, like he wants to be a good teammate, like he still cheers his teammates on. He's like, in the eyes of the public, he's still doing his thing. But then when coach asked him if he'd get games to go into a blowout against the Suns, he said no. And then when he said no, the Kings went on the run and they cut the lead down to like 2 or 3 points. And I'm pretty sure he wished that he had gone back and gone into that game. He didn't. That was all over the news, national news. And that's really hurting his image, his brand. And I feel like a lot of teams, organizations like the Pistons are like, well, he just doesn't want to be there. I agree. He obviously has checked out. He doesn't want to be here anymore. Is he a talent? Yes. But I've always said this. There are a lot of talented players in the NBA. This is the best of the best. I feel like they oversold us on his second jump. Is it great? I don't think so. I think it's good. I think a lot of other players at his size, like say a Metu, who was drafted in that same draft class. I don't know what he was, 49, I think, to the Spurs. He's more athletic to him. And I'm not even like capping. Like, he is more athletic than him. He's working harder. He's now started the last 2 games. And I've always said, if you give this guy 25 minutes, yeah, he's going to put up 14-7. Like, a lot of the Bagley supporters are, well, he put up 14-7. I mean, I don't know why he would tweet this out, but Mark Spears from ESPN, I don't know if you saw it, he deleted the tweet right away. Yeah. He was like, well, it was an embarrassing tweet. Let's just call it the way it is. And I'm friends with Mark Spears. So he took a jab at Dave Yeager, who we all know, national news, he's dealing with back and neck cancer. God bless him. Hopefully he's better. But that tweet had no place anywhere. It's kind of like he had an agenda. Like, if he's working for Team Bagley, like, the tweet was just random and weird. Like, why would you tweet that, right? And he did, and it just made it seem like the same argument for a lot of Bagley lovers is, oh, he averaged 14-7. Like, if that's some grandiose type thing, like, a lot of guys can do that. Like, Metu's been doing that with 25 minutes a game, so it's not even, like, that impressive to me. And I hope that if he does go to the Pistons, which is a huge possibility, that he gets playing time to prove himself, but he's at the mindset where, for example, Josh Jackson. I knew he'd be a bust before he even stepped on the court, but now he's accepted his role. He's accepted who he is, and he's played well for you guys. But coming off the bench at times, but just putting your ego aside, like, yeah, I was a top 5 pick, but it's okay. Other guys are better than me, and I'm just going to be a good teammate, be a professional, play my role, and that's something that Bagley will ultimately need to understand. I rambled a lot about a lot of different things. I don't know what you want to touch on, but Marvin Bagley, to me, needs a fresh start. The Pistons is the right organization for him. You guys have had some success the last 2 years with your young players in terms of development. So I like what you guys are. I've been watching a lot of your guys' games, obviously, Cade Cunningham. But my question to you is Saddiq Bey on the table, or is that like a far-fetched dream?
I think Saddiq, it would probably be off the table. So
okay.
You did mention him not wanting to check into the game. Now, we had a player do the same thing a couple of days ago, Hamidou Diallo. So Coach Casey asked him, hey, come into the game. and he's getting ready to come into the game, takes off whatever you want to call it, hoodie. He's getting ready to check in. Then Casey's like, no, I don't like your attitude. Go take a seat. And then we have our GM, Troy Weaver, literally take him because that's his guy. That's who he traded for. He's known him all the way back from when he was a sophomore in high school. And they go to the locker room together. So there's a lot of drama with Hamidou Diallo right now. I think that is probably a guy that the Pistons would look to trade in a Bagley package. Like I said, I did see a couple of trades on SB Nation. I did want to run them by you. I have them on my phone. So there's a couple different scenarios. I mean, like the last one is absolutely crazy. I do not think that'll ever happen, but let's get into it. Apologize. Hold on. This is really bad podcasting.
You got people in the comments saying it would be amazing if we got Bagley. So that's DMAP Zoom. Shout out to you. You know, don't wish for something that you don't want. I'm just telling you guys. I've had a lot of Pistons fans DM me on my CK account. Obviously, y'all can follow me at Basketball Zone or Cowbell Kingdom. But a lot of Pistons fans have said, oh, my God, Leo, you were right about Cory Joseph. This Dwayne Casey plays him way too much. And I'm like, see, I know what I'm telling you guys. Like, he'll give you some little hope. Like, oh, he's not that bad. But you're like, no.
I want to touch on that because last year, that was like, I don't know, Toronto Cory Joseph. This year, we got Sacramento Cory Joseph.
Thank you. I told you, Anthony, it was only a matter of time, bro.
Because I was like, man, he's tripping. Like, Cory's been playing really good. And then, like, this year, it's like, dude, what the hell happened? Like, he's so bad. He over-dribbles. He can't shoot.
Thank you.
Oh.
I was just like, it's only like I remember when he was playing well in the beginning, where I think he obviously on my birthday, out of all days, he beat the Kings. He came back, he put up like 24 points, and then he was on SportsCenter because he missed. Was it a layup or what was it last year? Like he was getting headlines, and I've always said he's an amazing human being. Shout out to his agent, or him or her. That's the real MVP for continuing to get the man paid. And the Pistons got him some extra money. The Kings paid him $13 per season. Man, like that. Man, that's crazy. Like this man has no business playing significant minutes anymore in his career. Just no way. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, we have a point guard we took in the second round last year, Saban Lee. The man is dropping 40 points a game in the G League right now. And we just recalled him up, so maybe we can.
He's better than Cory Joseph.
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone in this chat would agree with you. But I do want to get back to the Bagley stuff because I could ramble on for probably an hour about Cory Joseph the first 12 games of the season. We don't have that kind of time. But so this is a couple trades that I did get from SB Nation. I don't remember what they're called. I think they're called the Royal Pain or something like that. So the first trade they had was Kelly Olynyk for you guys. And this is before he did get hurt. We would get Marvin Bagley and a 2022 second-round pick via Charlotte or Detroit.
I love it.
Is Kelly Olynyk?
I think Olynyk would be the perfect kind of like stepping into that Bielitsa role, right? At the stretch four. Mm-hmm. Very smart basketball player. Not a great defender, but he's an okay team defender, I would say. Obviously, before he got hurt in that Rockets game, which was super unfortunate. And like you said in your story, Pistons can't have nice things. So I feel you on that. Same sentiment here, man. Yeah. So, yeah, I would have adored that. I'd like a hell of a trade for the Kings. Obviously, they'll be taking in – how much money did he get paid?
$13 million.
Okay. I mean, he's about $10 million per season. He's a little bit overpaid, but, I mean, it's not drastically overpaid.
No, like – when I was looking at your guys' record, I was like, okay, 5-8. I wanted to see who you guys beat, and you guys 4-0 first 4 games. I mean, you beat the Suns, you beat the Lakers, beat the Clippers, and I was like, man, they're finally turning it around. But the last couple of games, like, what has been going on? Like, what happened from the 4-0 start from the last couple of games?
Were they 4-0?
Yeah, they were 4-0 their first 4 games.
They weren't 4-0, but
or 3-0 maybe.
I don't know what they were. Obviously, we're all prisoners of the moment in terms of you only remember what the last 2-3 games. They're 5-8. They should have a better record. They've lost to bad teams yet again. When you play to the level of your competition, that makes you a bad team. So I'm not gonna say, oh, the Kings deserve. Like no, like the Kings have had substantial leads. They've given them up. The biggest issue this year has been their offensive execution down the stretch. Their defense has improved a lot, albeit because of the greatness of Davion Mitchell's defensive presence, his versatility on the court. He brings that dog, like a lot of people like to overuse that word, but hey, man, he's one of those guys that deserves that label. Like his brother is a dog. So they've improved defensively. They're still not great, but they're a lot better, and a lot of people want to point to that as their biggest issue still, and that's far from the truth. Their biggest issue is what was their biggest strength the past 3 years, which is their offense. Like, they can put up points, but this year, I would say in crunch time, every single game, it's been awful. They got bailed out in that Suns game by Harrison Barnes making that buzzer beater. Obviously, Pistons fans, sorry to remind you guys, that's a real thing there. Buddy loves to play in Detroit, but Harrison Barnes bails him out again, and it's unfortunate because in terms of all the actions that they run in the first quarter, second quarter, sometimes too, it's real smooth. The big issue with Dwayne Casey, right, is there's a lot of stagnant play, not so much weak side action going on, which doesn't put a guy like Cade Cunningham in good positions. Again, you always got to put your guys in the best situations to succeed. I'm not loving Killian Hayes, but a lot of it is too because of Dwayne Casey's actions and just overall scheme. But when you just look at the Kings, they just it's so hard to decipher. On the surface level, it's easy, like, oh, they're not moving the ball, but you really have to watch the film to really break down where is the breakdown happening. Like, why isn't there more movement? Just in that last play right against the Oklahoma City, they're up by 18 points in that game. Why the effing would you bring Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes on two ghost screens to really F up like the whole timing of the play on a guy like Lou Dort, who was elite in terms of an all-ball defender, and then you have people in the media talk about, oh, that's the exact same play with the Celtics and the Cavs, Garland going up against Smart. I'm like, no, what they should have done was brought an actual big man like Rashawn Holmes to set a real screen to then potentially get De'Aaron Fox off. Or if that was your whole play along, spread out the whole floor, 5 out, let them go one-on-one in the middle of the floor to where you don't give Lou Dort an angle. It's just little basic elementary stuff to you where, like, how is this guy a head coach? And now we're hearing that he's on the hot seat. So I don't know how I feel about that, because I'm in the school of, if you're going to fire him 13 games or 14, 15 games in, you should have fired him before the season, because if you bring in a new guy, guess what? It's going to be an adjustment period so they get used to that new system. And I'm not a fan of that. If you say give the job to one of the assistants, well, guess what? It's going to be a lot of the same thing. So what are you really doing, right? And it's these types of things that continue to bug me. They have the talent. They just got to execute. Obviously, Fox needs to play better as the leader of this team. A lot of fans are turning on De'Aaron Fox, which is super unfortunate. They rather, pinpoint 13 games as opposed to an entire season as a body of work. Like, the guy put up 25 points last year and pretty much 30 points in the second half of the season. Like, he was hooping. And even this year, like, he's averaging 20.6 assists. And this is like, oh my God, it's just awful. And I guarantee you, a bunch of players would love to have 20.6 assists as like their all-time highs, and this is like Fox's low. So yeah, it's crazy. Fans will be fans. They're super emotional. And my best advice to them on my platform is to think rationally, not irrationally.
Yeah, I think most people in this chat would love De'Aaron Fox as their point guard because, if you go back in like this our history, like we really haven't had a leader since Chauncey Billups, and the last kind of meaningful playoff game he had was 2008, and we're in 2021. Now we hope that could be Cade Cunningham. I think it will, and I think you guys have a really good team. I think you guys could possibly sneak into that play-in tournament if you keep playing the way you are. I think Davion Mitchell, I think we both agreed that, you got to take him if he's there, and you did. The guy's an absolute dog. I already think he's probably one of the better on-ball defenders in the NBA already, and the kid's only a rookie. You guys have Tyrese Halliburton, who I was really high on. I wanted the Pistons to draft him, but they didn't. Rashawn Holmes, who I think is so underappreciated. Can't believe you guys re-signed him. I thought he was going to go to Charlotte, but shout out to you guys for that.
So give our fans on the chat right now, like a quick summary of the background story on why the Pistons ultimately didn't draft Tyrese, because you were the one that actually told me about it.
They're pretty familiar with that already, with the
Okay.
with the agent thing. Well, him and Luke Kennard were represented by the same agent. Luke Kennard was not going to get that $16 million.
Thank God he didn't get that.
$16 million, and the Pistons opted to trade him, and it turned into Sadiq Bey. So I think we're all grateful for that, because even though Sadiq is struggling, he's a 3-and-D wing, and I think once he gets his shot under him, he's going to shoot anywhere from 35 to 38%. Do not expect him to shoot under 30% for the rest of the year. But like I said, most of these Pistons fans know about the Halliburton, the agent, and the Luke Kennard thing. We did get really sidetracked, but there was 2 more trades with Marvin Bagley. So this one would send Josh Jackson, Trey Lyles, and a 2023 second-round pick in exchange for Marvin Bagley and Davion Jones.
It's interesting. Oh, I think Davion would be really good for you guys, actually. He'd be the perfect backup to Stewart. And then the Kings would get who? They get Lyles. They get who else?
Josh Jackson.
I like that, too. I ain't going to lie to you. Like, the Kings have depth at that position for the first time in terms of center. I'd do it, yeah. I'd do it.
Yeah, I mean, and I looked at that, I was like, I like Josh because he's from Detroit and he's playing so well. But I really like Bagley. I think it'd be a seamless fit here. Because
the only problem that I see with Josh, real quick, sorry to cut you off, is that Josh Jackson is a backup wing, and then Mo Harkless is a backup wing, and that's still not really solving the issue for the Kings. Like, the Kings need a starting caliber forward next to Harrison Barnes, and the only guy on this roster for the Pistons is Sadiq Bey and Jerami Grant. And obviously, I'm sure we'll touch on Jerami Grant, but it gives the Kings more depth, but it's still, Josh Jackson, Maurice Harkless, those guys are backups, and it's not their fault. It's just a matter that, it's just the hand that the Kings are dealt right now. So it doesn't solve an issue it just solves it's kind of like a Band-Aid, really. Like, it's not solving an issue for the Kings.
I will say this about Josh Jackson. He is probably one of the most versatile players on this team. I mean, we've seen him play shooting guard, really effective. Seen him play small forward, really effective. Seen him play power forward, really effective. I mean, I believe, I can't remember. It might have been against Brooklyn. And, he was handling Blake Griffin. I mean, Blake couldn't get past him. Mind you, Blake is on one knee. But, I mean, he's a very versatile player. I don't know if that's something you guys would want to look into, but this last trade,
Teams would be interested in. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, in theory, there are nights where he's going to look like a starter. Obviously, he has for the Pistons, 100%. Like, he's had really good games, but then he's going to have dud games where if you're a starter, you're consistent every single game. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I really can't blame Josh for having that game, because that's just who he is. Like, again, never put your company, you're not going to make a graphic designer edit videos for you, because that's not what their strength is. Like, you got to keep them where they're good at. Yeah. And to me, he's a perfect player who can bring you energy, bring your scoring off your bench.
Yeah, definitely. He's like the Tasmanian devil in a sense, where when he's on, but when he's off, he's off. And it's just a consistency thing. I don't know if it's a reps thing. I don't know if he's still a young player. He's not even in his 30s yet. Maybe he'll figure it out. But I think what you said is, perfect. He's a perfect guy to bring off your bench as an energy type player. So this last trade, I think you would absolutely love. It is crazy. Would get you guys Jerami Grant. So you guys would get Jerami Grant, Ronnie Magruder, a 2023 first-round pick that is less favorable. We would get Marvin Bagley, Maurice Harkless, a 2022 first-round pick, lottery protected, and a 2023 first-round pick swap, more favorable.
Done. What are we signing the damn paperwork?
See,
I thought you were gonna say Tyrese Halliburton. I'm like,
No.
huh?
no.
I'm like, yeah.
So we get
Okay, so where are you guys with Jerami Grant? Obviously, last year you
Mhm.
guys asked for 3 first-round picks with Boston.
Yeah.
I think they said no. Obviously, he was having a hell of a season. I think he was putting up 25 points a game.
Yeah.
His game has drastically improved since his time in Denver. I always talk about role optimization. There are certain teams that won't allow you to do certain things, and obviously that's why he signed, because he thought he was better than the role he was given. He has shown that, the guy can create his own shot, which is always a plus in the NBA. He's still a decent defender, obviously with more touches offensively. The defense is going to go down, just logically speaking. But on the Kings, he's not going to be your number one option, so he can kind of go back to that role in Denver, but drastically optimized to still get up his own shots, especially off the weak side, to where I just don't trust Luke. But why not give a bad coach another option to play with? That's never a bad thing. So you put him in there. I just think he's a seamless fit for the Kings. Him and Harrison Barnes would be doing some damage for sure. I think Jerami Grant is better than Aaron Gordon, and I mean that with all honesty. I'm not a big AG fan. I think he gets a lot of hype because of the dunk contest and nationally speaking. But I genuinely think Jerami Grant is better, and this deal makes you guys worse. But I understand it from your organization's perspective, which is to get Cade as many touches as possible, and then to clear up the cap space that would give the Pistons next season
and get some draft picks while we're at it. Even though there are protections on it. Now, as for where the organization is with Jerami Grant, just from what I'm seeing and him being in the community and being so involved, this within Detroit, I mean, he didn't have to move to Detroit. He did because he wanted to be in the city. But I think the organization still values him a lot because he's embraced the city of Detroit and he wants to be here. Now, do I think he's the number one option on a good basketball team, playoff basketball team? No, I don't. I think he's a number 3 at best. A number 3. I think he has the capability to be a number 2 if he keeps progressing and keeps developing, because I think there's another level to his game. I don't think he's done developing. Defensively, you know what he brings. Offensively, you know what he brings. 35% 3-point shooter this year.
It's not bad.
I don't know. I feel like if they really wanted to pull the trigger on a trade like this, it would probably be for draft picks and, trying to, maybe clear his cap. Maybe they really go all in this summer because, there's going to be a lot of good free agents this summer.
Right.
And we have so much dead cap space, man. It's ridiculous. I mean, we got Blake Griffin, $28 million this year on the books, which is crazy to think about, that we still have a roster constructed and we're paying Blake Griffin damn near $30 million.
Does Blake's contract come off the books after the summer or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna have
so you have money.
We're gonna have a lot of money this year to spend on free agents. I don't know who we're gonna get. I honestly don't, but I don't really know if the plan is to go all in and try to compete, try to make the playoffs, or just make small, gradual, strategic moves and kind of, develop more of us slowly. But I mean,
so would you take Marvin Bagley, Tristan Thompson's so they're both expiring deals, 2 first-round picks for Jerami Grant?
I would, but I'm not Troy Weaver. Honestly, man, I love expiring deals because if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's like if we trade for Bagley and it doesn't work out, I'm not sweating about it. I'm not paying him $11 million.
Right.
I'm sure another team might take a flyer on him. Who knows if they need a big man. But
so would you be okay with those picks being top 14 protected or no?
I would probably do 1 protected and then 1 unprotected, just because I have a feeling you guys are going to be around that 10 to 13.
Yeah, I feel like if we get Jerami Grant for Tristan Thompson and Marvin Bagley, that's literally adding a player and not subtracting any talent. Let's be honest, you're gonna get better just because.
Yeah,
the Kings are a playoff team to me. I think Jerami Grant takes himself because that's what they're missing. So now you can move Maurice Harkless to the bench where he belongs, and he can give you those 10 to 15 minutes, and Jerami Grant and Harrison Barnes, like that duo that are going to play 30 to 35 minutes a night. So that's how I see it. And it just gives Rashawn Holmes, more length on the perimeter.
Yeah.
As opposed to his guys getting beat. But you put Jerami Grant, Davion Mitchell, and then inspired De'Aaron Fox. Obviously, biggest criticism is that he's not always inspired. But when he wants to play defense, I mean, the guy's a monster. So it's just one of those things, right?
Yeah, I think you guys are really close to making the playoffs. What's it been, going on 14, 15 years?
15. This year it'd be 16 if they don't, which would be the longest streak in NBA history. So this is a deal that, obviously, I've said it again, like it makes sense for where both organizations are at. Like, y'all will get the cap space. We're getting the talent on the 2-year deal, so we have him for this year and the following year. And after that, if you can afford him, should be a great thing. And then you got Harrison coming off too. So there's decisions that you have to come up with, but it's something that if I'm Troy Weaver, man, like I would highly consider that, just because I want to open up more touches for a guy like Cade Cunningham, which I'm sure we'll get into soon.
Yeah, I mean, here's my question about it is, would you guys be willing to trade like multiple picks to like secure Jerami Grant, like multiple first-round picks?
I think honestly, I get it. Like, one is without question, like a duh. Mm-hmm. I am willing to give up 2 first-round picks for this guy if I don't have to give up talent. Like, to me, I'm not saying that Bagley isn't talented, but in terms of like someone in your rotation, like, you're not giving up anybody. Like Tristan Thompson's expiring deal, which is what you guys want and we want, right? We, the Kings, They want a bona fide starting wing player, and that's what Jerami Grant. Like, he's a starter. Is a guy who has put up 25 a night, and he just put up 35 points the other night. So more than capable.
It's funny, man. He went berserk against the Rockets. That's the game you're talking about. Did not miss his shot in the third. The fourth, he could not hit a shot to save his life.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, he has times where, and when he's on, but when he's off, you can be off. But like I said, I think he'd be a great addition to you. I really don't know what the plan is for the Pistons. I don't know if it's kind of a slow developing process of, getting better, or if they really want to, just speed it up.
So my other one is, would you be interested in this 3-team trade? So the Kings would get Jerami Grant and Jaylen Brown. The Pistons would get Buddy Hield, and the Celtics would get De'Aaron Fox.
How much is Buddy making? Like 20?
Yeah, 22. But he'd have this year 2 more years. I mean, you're talking about top 5 shooter in the league.
How the hell?
And you put that with Cade Cunningham, and I mean, you're giving him the space that he needs. It makes a lot of sense logistically speaking.
So, who are the Kings giving up, the Aaron?
Yes.
So you would get Jaylen Brown and Jerami Grant,
and then the Kings would throw in a highly protected first-round pick to the Pistons.
I think the Pistons would probably pass on that. Not to say it's not a good trade. I think the Kings are absolutely winners, and so are the Celtics. Because I think the Celtics' biggest problem is they really haven't had – I'm probably going to get killed for this. I don't really think they've had elite point guard play, and they've had Kyrie Irving. And
they haven't. No, you shouldn't get killed. Anybody who kills you, they don't watch basketball. They have not had elite point guard play. De'Aaron Fox, Jason Tatum. It solves a big issue, which a lot of people won't admit to it, but who is their Batman? Like, sometimes it's Jaylen, sometimes it's Jason. Like, that would eliminate that issue. Your guy becomes Jason. Your Robin becomes De'Aaron Fox. We get our Batman, which is Jaylen Brown. Like, there's an argument to be made that Jaylen Brown has been better. I don't care what anybody says. Like, Jaylen Brown is freaking good.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, that's a guy I look at. Maybe the Pistons go after in a couple of years, because I mean, guy's a stud. Honestly,
He's a stud. The only issue is obviously his health. Like he's always injured, which is unfortunate. But he's an explosive athlete, smart IQ, can get his points. Like, he's a bucket getter.
Yeah,
I think he's a hell of a player, and it would solve a fit issue for both teams, because now Tyrese is your lead point guard, Jalen's there. You'd have Jerami Grant, Harrison Barnes, and Rashawn Holmes. I mean, that's a hell of a lineup.
I think it's good for you guys. I think the Pistons kind of get the shit end of the deal with getting Buddy. Like, I like Buddy, but I don't
Buddy has played so well this year. He's gone better defensively. He's shooting elite again. I mean, he never stops shooting elite. I don't want people to talk about it. Like he's a 40% career shooter on high volume. It's not like he's taking 5. He's taking about 13 threes a game.
I know, it's crazy.
Like he is elite of the elite when it comes to that, and he creates so much gravity for everybody around him. Like teams are just playing so. I mean, they're hard hedging every single, and they're staying home every time, and that creates space. And ultimately, that's what you want to surround Cade Cunningham with, which is a lot of shooting, like shooting and just space. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I think $22 million for an organization like Detroit and Sacramento, again, in the open market, he gets 18 without question. I mean, Joe Harris got it, Duncan got it. Like, these are the elite of the elite super role players. Again, if you categorize him as a role player, you'll be fine. If you think he's your star, that's where people go wrong, and then you start, making illusions and just telling yourself, well, he's supposed to be a star because he gets paid X amount. No, he gets paid X amount because shooting is a premium in the NBA, and that's a huge distinction that fans have to begin to understand. Like, it doesn't matter how much he gets paid. Like, point is, Detroit, Sacramento will have to overpay because they haven't had success in the last, I don't know how many years.
Yeah, I feel you. I know you did touch on Cade Cunningham, and I know you really want to talk about him for a couple minutes. So being like someone that's like, I don't want to say like not in the know, because I know you know your shit. I know you watch tons of
film. Outside looking in, for sure.
Yeah, outside looking in. I couldn't think of that. What are your thoughts on him so far?
So in terms of his turnovers, which is what people want to talk about, his assists, what is he at? 3 assists, 3 turnovers, 5 boards, 11.7 points a game. It's not like if they would ask me, is he overperforming, underperforming? I think he's right where he should be, because when you have an ankle issue, which I've had plenty of, and they're tedious, it's not easy to come back from. Basketball is all about rhythm and timing. He didn't have a preseason, right? And that matters. Like, he had no chemistry. So this first couple games, he's struggling. He's still struggling from beyond the arc. What's he shooting from beyond the arc? He's shooting
like 20-something.
23%. That's not good. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, no, that's bad. But it's going to gradually improve. His mechanics are fine. I just love the fact that every game he has improved just a little bit, to where it gives you hope that he's on track of being the safest pick, right? Like, he's without a doubt the safest pick in the draft. I had him number 1. I had Scotty Barnes number 2. A lot of people thought I was effing crazy because just Scotty Barnes, like, not exactly. Like, I know what the hell I'm doing when it comes to the process of evaluating talent. Like, I love Scotty Barnes. He's going above and beyond right now. I wasn't that time on Mobley. I had him number 6. I regret that. Again, number 6 is not bad. It's not like I had him like 10 or 11. Like, number 6 is still, obviously, it's 1A, 1B right now. Like, Scotty and Evan are freaking killing it. But Cade Cunningham, bro, like, when it's all said and done, he's going to be right there. Truly believe it. The Pistons are giving him the playing time. He's getting more comfortable every single game. I know a lot of fans are overreacting to some of his struggles, just like Houston fans are literally killing Jalen Green for his struggles. Like, it's not that big of a deal. They're very young and inexperienced. They don't have a great head coach. It's all part of the process. Same with the Pistons. Like, they don't have a great head coach. Dwayne Casey, if anyone wants to lie to themselves, he's just a placement coach until you guys get your real coach. I think it could be Juwan Howard, right? Like, he's right in the area.
Oh, man.
I know my Pistons shit, bro. Like, I love the Pistons, bro. Like fact. So I'm just hoping that Cade brings you guys to relevance again, for sure.
The Casey thing, he's just a placement coach. You probably won the hearts of so many Pistons fans, and you don't even know it. There has been a narrative that Dwayne Casey doesn't know what he's doing. Dwayne Casey's putting Cade Cunningham in the corner. He's giving him the Stanley Johnson, the Sekou treatment. You even talked about his action, man. I mean, it's some of the stuff he runs, it's questionable. I don't know if it's maybe he's not completely confident in Cade, or it's like a trust issue thing, but I definitely think him shooting from 3 is a struggle. I know. I don't know if you saw that stat Muse graphic where the Pistons are actually the worst shooting team in the league.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
recurring
effect. And then we shoot like 50% in Toronto, like absolutely crazy. But I mean,
that was the game plan, right? Like, I watched that game, and it seemed like they were playing this kind of report, which again, you have to give, like, you can't take everything away from that's impossible. These guys are professional basketball players. You got to give up something. They're like, okay, if you beat me from beyond the arc, I'm going to live with it. And guess what? The Pistons are freaking hitting on all cylinders. It's one of those games. Like, that's just how it is. Like, in the fourth quarter, you had Jerami Grant go back-to-back threes in that, like, left corner middle to the edge. Cade Cunningham. It was back-to-back, like 9 straight points right there. And that was, like, the game.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, if that game was so weird because they've been struggling from three so much. I think it was like a record since 1960. I guess the Lakers were still in Minneapolis. That's how bad they were shooting, but they went berserk in that game. I mean, you had Jerami Grant with 20 points, Isaiah Stewart with 20 points. Killian Hayes probably had his best game as a Piston, almost had a triple-double. That's a matchup I wanted to get into. The Killian Hayes versus Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes. We
now
get to see it.
That first matchup they had last year, that was really entertaining. I know Killian blocked a couple of his shots, and Tyrese did the same. So what are you expecting out of that tonight?
I think one of the biggest criticisms for Tyrese Halliburton, and not to get sidetracked, when people talk about, and over-emotional fans, well, let's trade Fox for Ben Simmons. I'm like, you do understand that Tyrese Halliburton is a passive guard whose instincts is to get everyone around him involved. So if you want 2 passive guards, there you go. Like, it's not going to work. At the end of the day, no matter how great your defense is, you got to get buckets, right? Like, that's the name of the game, like getting buckets. I don't care how many stops you get in a row. And that's why I was very adamant about saying, like, no, like, if you're going to trade for Ben Simmons, it's not going to be Fox. Like, Fox is a capable 30-point scorer every single night type of dude. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to give up Tyrese, who I love and would be a great fit in Philadelphia, by the way, which is, again, I think that's where the deal's on the table, which is Bagley, Buddy, 3 firsts for Ben. It's there for them. They don't want to take it because they want either Davion or Tyrese. But yes, Tyrese, Killian Hayes, this is a matchup that a lot of Pistons fans are looking forward to because, again, that could have been an option for you guys. And
yeah,
I think it would have been a hindsight 2020. Like, who knows if you guys win more games with Tyrese being there? To me, he's a better player. But Tyrese and Cade would have been like, oh shit, like that's a real good duo. I think Tyrese knows that. Like, in the back of his mind, he's like, well, I know they wanted me. I want to put a show on for them. But I think Killian's like, no, like, I got something to prove. So I actually expect Killian Hayes to have a really good game today, to play good defense. I think he's a better defender than Tyrese Halliburton. I think Tyrese is a better overall player, but people got to give Killian some credit there. Like, he plays hard on defense. He's long. It's just his shooting, like, and again, like, if he gonna put Cade and split the touches, bringing the ball up, initiating the offense with Killian with Cade. In theory, it makes sense, but one of these 2 brothers got to start shooting the ball at a higher clip for that to work. Right now, it's not working. I think you guys are 30th in points per game at 97.6. That's a big issue there.
Yeah.
But tonight is one of those nights where the Kings are desperate for a win. And if the Pistons just play their game, I think it'll be a good game. I'm just hoping for, like, I don't want to blow out on either side. I just want a competitive game.
The same here.
Like a buzzer beater type. That way you can come on post game and just talk shit to each other.
No, I don't want another. I'm still over that Buddy Hield.
Oh. And then you can be like, yeah, I want Buddy.
I'm still not over that because that shot wasn't off in time. But anyways, Killian's actually been shooting a lot better. So I had to do a deep dive today, and I'm like, he's leading the Detroit Pistons in 3-point percentage at 43% right now.
43?
Yeah. He's
up how
many? 2.7 attempts per game.
Kind of cut that in half. So if he takes a 5 threes, it probably drops down to like 38, which is still good.
Yeah, which it's crazy because if you go last year, he was only shooting 27%. That's a big increase. Now, I mean, Josh Jackson is shooting the same attempts, and he's only shooting 30%.
Right.
So, I mean, I think Killian's offense, I'm going to stay patient because the guy hasn't even played a full 82 games yet. I think he's around like 40 or 50 games. And a lot of fans in Detroit they absolutely love Killian Hayes, like you said, for his defense. His defensive game is probably his strong suit. I saw him literally switch between a point guard and a center against Toronto. Like, Toronto centers, he was keeping up with them, like, strength wise. And I was like, damn.
Toronto centers are trash, by the way.
And, I know.
and we're covering the Raptors a lot. So, like, that's what they need. Like, that team is scary if they can get like a Rashawn Holmes type player, like a Jakob Poeltl, like a big dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, score his role. Because let's be honest, Precious Achiuwa ain't that guy yet. He's super young, super raw, not that good. Birch is like a nice backup, but that's what they're missing. And who knows? Like, even a guy like Siakam, by the deadline, tell you what, he could be on that trade market.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect Toronto to do as well as they are. I think that's a big thing. Scotty Barnes is. Scotty Barnes has been playing really good. Him and Evan Mobley are probably my two guys right now that I have in my rookie of the year. I think
Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes in their own class, and it's everybody else.
Yeah, everyone else is kind of like, eh. And I know, like, coming from a Pistons fan, like, a lot of Pistons think Cade's going to win Rookie of the Year, which I don't even care if he wins it. I just care if he makes his team better, and he has.
Exactly.
He's a team first guy. Like, he scored 10 points, and he was happy for his team. And that's all I really care about is him being a team first guy because, I don't want Jalen Green. He's, all about me, honestly.
I know Pistons fans were so happy in that matchup when you guys beat them and how I'm going to go in there and prove. He's always talking about, him being upset that he didn't go number one. Like, who cares, bro? It's just like, move on already. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love Jalen Green. It's just move on.
I know, like, I was really high on him, and then he's like being I don't even know what the word to say.
Diva about it. Well, yeah. To be fair, Houston reporters keep asking him the stupid ass question. So
I know.
Obviously if he doesn't answer it that way, then they'll be like, oh, well, he's just a little, what? Like, so I get it. They set him up for the clicks and then build up that like, but
I know, like, Cade's response is like just to show you like the Pistons made the right pick, and he was just like, I listened to trash talk, but I saw who was giving me the trash talk, and he's basically saying like I didn't pay any attention to it. I saw who it was. Who cares? And he moved on. Like, that's what I want out of my rookie, honestly. I did want to get into your rookie though, Davion Mitchell. Now he is someone that tonight I'm looking at and I'm like, shit, because I know how much he can defend. I know how switchable he is. I think he's going to – I know Cade Cunningham has had some pretty good experiences against him in college, but I think tonight that's going to be a matchup. If I'm a Piston fan, I'm watching Cade Cunningham versus Davion Mitchell because I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't know if Davion's going to lock him up. I don't know if Cade's going to, drop a career high. What are you expecting with Cade Cunningham versus Davion Mitchell tonight?
I guarantee that Davion Mitchell circled his calendar day on his calendar, like, without question. We saw the highlights in his college reel tape, how he locked him up on that possession. And I feel like Davion has a highlight every single game. Like, he's on social media trending because of how hard. And again, dude, like, when I and I just came back earlier from hooping, like, that's why I was kind of like, to show apologize. But when I think about how he plays and I'm watching him in person, I'm like, how is it even possible? How is it that he can move his hips the way he can, stick out his chest, stay in the play? And this is against elite guys like Donovan Mitchell's, Stephen Curry's. Like, he is legitimately clamping these human beings who are elite at what they do. And it's just the way his hips contort and stay balanced and keep his strength. Like, he's never off balance. I don't know if it's sustainable in terms of like a long-term thing. Like, at any point his hips could blow. Maybe not. I've never seen that in my life. I've been watching basketball for a long time. I don't get it. I don't see how. Maybe God just made him special. Like, I'm going to make this dude like a bionic freak that can move like this and stay in front of you and just anticipate. obviously he watched a lot of film, right? And he anticipates a lot of your moves. But a lot of those moves are just he's freelancing. He's just moving with the offensive player, staying in front of him. But with all the rules, being able to push off a little bit more, and now with obviously this is really going to help Davion because there are a lot more hand checking, which thank God because it's now making the game more balanced. But he's just so impressive, and he's just a culture driver. He's a culture changer. He's not going to put up 20 points a night. He's going to give you his all defensively, and this is what this team has been missing for a long time. He provides that on draft night. I was very adamant about saying I understood why the Kings did it with James Bouknight, who I was on your show talking about the draft. I had him top 4 on my big board. I wanted Bouknight there because I'm an offensive freak, and that's just who I am.
Yep.
But I wasn't mad at the to go back to my show, I wasn't mad at the pick. I understood the pick. And again, Bouknight hasn't gotten a real chance to play. I mean, he plays on a very good team with a lot of guys in front of him. He just went to he put up 30, 40 points, easily.
Yeah.
This class is very deep. This class is very good. So make no mistake about it. I wouldn't be mad either way. They had Bouknight. Obviously, they have Davion, so I'm super happy with that. I think what's impressed me the most, though, is Davion's ability to just create his own shot, even though it hasn't failed the way it should because his mechanics are flawless. It's more of a timing confidence thing right now. He's going to be fine, but it's just he's really impressing with his first step. He is so fast. He will blow by you. The only thing is understanding how to stop on the dime and then just dropping it off as opposed to going all the way and getting swatted because he's a little guy like me. Obviously, a lot more athletic, but he needs to just stop on the dime and just shoot a floater, which he's gotten a lot better at right away. He's shooting the floater really well. It's just those little intricacies of the game where the more film he watches, which again, he's a gym rat, he's a student of the game. I think he'll be fine. He'll adjust. Every game he's learning, he's adjusting. It's just he's been a pleasure to watch to cover, man. He's such a class act. Great family. I can't say anything, as many positives as that. This guy is legit.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's perfect for what you guys need. And he reminds me a little bit of Drew Holiday in a sense where
a lot. He's smaller, but yes, very, very light.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really think about Drew Holiday as an elite player. But I mean, he just won a championship with Giannis. And he was a big part of why they won a championship. I'm not saying the Kings are going to win a championship, but I feel like you guys having a front office that you guys do have Joe Dumars as a consultant still. Joe Dumars knows how to build a team. And he probably sees a little bit of himself in Davion Mitchell because people might trip in the comments, but Joe Dumars was a hell of a defender. I'm not saying, Davion Mitchell's going to be like a Joe Dumars type player because, Joe could score too, but I think there's a little bit of Joe and Davion, and it's probably a big reason why the Kings, drafted him because, I mean, you can go back in history. Joe Dumars was a hell of a player. And I think I can't wait for this matchup with Cade and Davion and Killian and Tyrese. I do think you guys are going to kill us on the boards, though. No lie there. But
Rashawn's going to have a night tonight.
I mean, you got Isaiah Stewart, but we really don't have a backup. If Isaiah gets in foul trouble, we're screwed, straight up.
So that deal that you said where you got Damian Jones and it was Bagley, again, like I said, I think that's a good deal because then you have Damian Jones who, when he's gotten a chance, he's been really good for the Kings. I like him better than Tristan Thompson. It's just splitting hairs with him and Alex Len. Alex Len,
good player.
He's a good player on the Kings. He's been shit on other teams. So, yeah, I like Damian Jones, man. I think he's growing. He's understanding the game. He's a perfect roller. He dunks everything. He's a solid defender. It'd be a great pickup for you guys for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think because I have talked to people that are, kind of in the media, and I learned something about his family. I did not know that his mom is actually from Detroit.
Damian?
No, Marvin Bagley's mom.
Is she really?
She was born in Detroit. Yeah, she lived here. So there is a little bit of connection there. Him and Cade Cunningham have the same agent. I think the trade does get done. We just have to wait until December 15th. So obviously, I think Hamidou Diallo is going to be a guy that's probably going to be involved in that trade in some, capacity.
So they can't make the deal until December 15th?
Yeah, because a lot of the players that we re-signed, it's like a CBA thing. Because I don't think we're going to trade anyone we're not going to trade any of our, rookies. We're probably going to trade people that we re-signed. So it's probably going to be like a Hamidou and a Trey Lyles and maybe a draft pick to you guys for Marvin.
If you guys are willing to give up Jerami Grant today and we give up 2 firsts and Bagley and Thompson, that deal can happen today?
It could. I'm just saying, players that we re-signed, because we re-signed Hamidou Diallo to a pretty cheap deal. I honestly think he's going to be a part of it. I think the Pistons are just really in love with Jerami Grant. I just don't know if they would really move him. I think it had to be like a crazy deal, like a team that just so desperate that they want a wing defender.
Kings are desperate.
Well, I mean, if Boston offered us 3 first-round picks, I don't know if they would take 2 second-round picks in Bagley.
Well, his stats have gone down. He's only averaging 19 points a game. He's not averaging 25 like he was last year. So maybe, I think most teams would offer you guys, again, 2 picks for sure. To me, if I'm the Pistons, that's the bottom line. I ain't taking anything less. The question now becomes, who is that player that you guys are interested in who has upside, right? And I think you guys are very intrigued by the idea of Marvin Bagley. And I'll just keep it at that, the idea, because he's still a player that needs more playing time to show his true worth.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't think he's there yet, but who knows? He could just skyrocket, put up, empty calorie type stats for you guys and still lose games. People always talk about he's a 20 and 10 on talent, but I'm like, okay, say hypothetically he averages 20 and 10.
Yeah.
What if the Kings lose? And no, in serious, there are guys who can put up stats all day long, but will that translate into wins? That's the real question.
I don't think the Pistons are concerned with winning this year. I just don't.
Right. That's my point.
I think you look at this draft, and this draft is very center heavy. Now, do I think they go for a Chet Holmgren if they get lucky and win the lottery, or the kid from Duke, who I think is an absolute stud to move like that, being that big? I think he would be a good pick. I mean, you got Jaden Hardy, who is playing in the G League, who's actually from Detroit.
I'd go Hardy, bro. You put Hardy, Cade Cunningham. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those 2 would be dynamic. There's just so many choices. I'm looking at the draft 12 games in because when I'm watching this team, I don't think they're good enough to be a playoff team, and that's okay. I think where we're at, as a organization, I think they're all about player development, and that's why you're seeing the Bagley rumors. Someone in the chat actually said it. I did do some research on it. I didn't know Bagley's grandfather actually got drafted by the Pistons in the 60s either.
He did. So he has NBA bloodline for sure. We actually did, if Pistons fans go back, I don't know if I'll share it right now, but we did a little vlog style behind the scenes. We worked out for the Kings, and we're there, watched the workout, blah, blah, blah. He talked about his grandpa and, back in the day when he played there. And it's a cool story, right? I was trying to be super positive because I wasn't how Bagley as it is, because Bagley to me is a center. And Pistons fans, if they get him, they'll soon realize, just like I told you guys about Cory, he's a center in the NBA. He needs to get stronger, needs to get tougher. He gets pushed around a lot by guards. I know someone in the chat, CH, is ask him about Bagley's defense. His defense is atrocious. I don't know how much he can develop his defense with Dwayne Casey there.
Yeah.
How would you describe, I guess, what it comes down to is, and you would know better than me, but how would you describe the culture and just the overall defensive scheme for the Pistons? And then if you apply that to his game, which needs a lot of work defensively, I think that's what you got to take into account.
I think just for the culture in Detroit, it's changed a lot since Troy Weaver has come here. I think the culture is something that, a lot of players are buying into. I was completely surprised that Mind you, Trey Lyles a few years ago, he had a quote about like the worst cities to like ever live in, and Detroit was one of them. Now, I'm not saying Trey Lyles is like a big free agent name because he's not. But the fact that he took such a cheap deal, because I'm assuming he could have got more than what he got, he received from us. But I think the culture is changing. As for the defensive schemes, I think our big problem right now is we switch a lot of things, and I think Bagley would be passable because we have such a tall team. I mean, you look at Cade, he's 6'6", Killian 6'5". You got Sadiq, he's around like 6'7", 6'8". Jerami's like 6'9". Isaiah 6'9". I think it's a very switchable team, and I think, you know, a lot of the help side would help Bagley in that sense. Now, he's not going to be like a defensive player of the year because I've watched tape on him. He's really bad defensively. But I think he's passable in that sense.
But
And
but Bagley's a guy that you have to hide, and
yeah,
if you do have the capable defenders around him, you can do a better job of hiding him. I just feel like also the Kings have had terrible defenders who, if you have two bad defenders like Buddy in previous seasons, Buddy's been pretty solid this year, but you know the last 3 years, you see Buddy and Bagley, it's hard to hide two guys.
yeah. Bagley probably doesn't start. He probably comes off our bench.
Okay.
That's what we need right now. It's just, you know, more rebounding, and I think he provides that.
He's a very good rebounder. Like that's what he does.
Yeah, that's all we really need right now. I mean, we're a terrible rebounding team. Even though you'll probably look at the box score and we have like 40, 50 rebounds, there will be possessions tonight where you guys just out-rebound us. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, and Sadiq Bey is leading you guys with 7.1 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
Killian with 1.5 steals, and then Stewart with 1.3 blocks. So, yeah, like you guys don't know how to rebound. Let's see. You guys rank, God diggity, 30th in rebounds per game at 42 a game.
Yeah.
Sheesh. So 30th in points and 30th in rebounders. That is a recipe for a lot of losses.
Embrace the tank.
Hashtag no tanking, man. Come on, man.
Oh, man. Well, you know, we've almost been on for an hour, so I do appreciate your time. Do you have any?
Your boy Alec would say Bagley would start 100%.
Well, Alec, he's not. The Pistons value defense.
Yes.
That's why Stewart starts and Kelly didn't. And that's why you're not going to start it. Anyways, do you have a final prediction for tonight's game? Final score?
I think the Kings win 110-107.
Okay. I think the Pistons win 102-98. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close. I really do.
No, yeah, let me see. The Kings, okay, so just to give people context, the Kings are minus 4.5 points favorites today.
Mm-hmm.
So people listening to this on the chat, are you guys taking the Kings to win by 5, or do you think the Pistons will cover? Do you think the Pistons are going to win flat out money line? So he makes some good money today. Yeah, and the matchup predictor on ESPN is the Kings winning on a 61%.
I think it's going to be a good game.
I think so too. That's what we're hoping for, like a very competitive game. There's going to be runs where the Kings go up 10, where the Pistons go up 10. You're like, oh, shit, here comes the blowout. And then they kind of, you know, balance out. Some little fake foul here. Refs are like, oh, let's keep this close. I don't know how it goes, man. Like, the NBA ain't trying to watch no blowouts.
Yeah, right. But I do want to thank everyone in the chat for watching. And Leo, thank you for your time. I know you're a really busy man. We're going to wrap it up. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Social media links for Leo's YouTube channel are in the description below. Go check them out. It's also on Instagram. It's
at Basketball Zone Official, and you guys can also follow us at Cowbell_Kingdom. Again, our YouTube channel is Basketball Zone, where we cover the Pistons, the Raptors, the Rockets, the Kings, everybody pretty much. We try to do our best there. But question for you, are you going live in postgame with me tonight?
Oh, for sure. You know that.
All right. So for all the Pistons fans on here, this is the dual collab today. Pre-game on this channel. Again, all Kings fans, all Raptor fans. We've got a lot of people from Canada in the last month. I would say we're almost at 9,000 subscribers. So definitely follow the Pistons if you guys have interest. Because I know a lot of Raptor fans and Rockets fans are watching what the Pistons are doing just because there's that rivalry between, Jalen, Cade, Scotty. Like, this draft class is very special. I think none of these guys have to worry about whether or not when these guys are bust. They're all going to be good players. Whether or not they're like Batmans, that's a separate conversation. But in terms of me predicting that they'll be good players, I honestly believe all those guys will be really good. So, even a guy like Jalen Suggs, who has struggled, but to me, he's going to get his act together. Franz Wagner is playing really well. He's been the better rookie. Alperen Sengun, I love. He's been their best rookie this year for the Rockets. They have a lot of rookies, but see, that's another team real quick that I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like, they're going to lose a lot of games. Why are they paying Eric Gordon, DJ Augustine, and Tice more than Garuba and Josh, whatever the hell his name is? Like,
I don't know, man. It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. But yeah, man. Pistons fans, it's going to be a great post game show on the Basketball Zone YouTube channel. Make sure you guys tune in tonight.
All right, we're at.